everyone! Welcome to week 27 of my series Paint and Meditate, the painting challenge where I use the color cube by Sarah Renee Clark and Bible verses turned in from all of you to restrict my color palette and to be the inspiration behind the painting. And today's colors: charcoal, dark teal, dark brown, auburn, and cream pink. And today's Bible verse: Exodus 14:14. Let's get painting. Back again with another 8x10 canvas today and excited to dive into this verse. Let's go ahead and read it. Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent. The context for this verse comes from the iconic story of God parting the Red Seas through Moses as the Israelites fled from the Egyptians. While they are fleeing, their enemies pursue them and are seemingly going to overtake them. The people begin to react out of fear and are complaining at Moses for rescuing them to only lead them here. In that moment, they doubted God's protection over their lives. It can be easy for us to read this and make judgments about how untrusting they were, but this happens to us all the time. We base our emotions and confidence in God on what we are seeing around us, focusing on the difficulty of a situation rather than on the character and the power of God. The Israelites had just seen the Lord operate in impossibly powerful ways through the different plagues that he had brought forth until the Pharaoh at last relented and let the people go. But now, being cornered in this dead end and an entire army chasing after them, they had completely forgotten all of that, to the point that they now wish they had just been left in those harsh conditions of slavery, rather than to have been set free. This is where today's verse comes into play. Moses reminds the people who is fighting for them. They do not need to fear or cry out in panic, but can stand firm and watch God fight on their behalf. The Lord was about to move in a mighty way, and they had only to be silent and trust his faithfulness to them. In what ways can you lay down the different battles in your life to the Lord and let him fight on your behalf? Share your thoughts in the comments below so we can encourage one another in the faith. When I was first planning for this painting, I was going to focus on the character of God that we see not only in this instance, but all over the Bible. I had it in my head that I'd paint a lion in reference to God as the Lion of Judah, our fierce protector. But as always, God took me elsewhere as I meditated more on the verse. While reading over the passage, I had this image of the debris from the Egyptians' army scattered throughout as the waters of the Red Sea had come crashing down upon them. This, combined with the color combination, felt like it was a better course for the painting and more aligned with the verse. The dark teal was naturally the best option for the waters. I used the round brush and layered the dark teal and charcoal with wavy lines to give motion to the water. To create the sense of the waters towering like walls on either side of the path, I did small vertical strokes leading to one point. This kept the sense that the waters were now crashing down where that pathway once was, keeping the enemy from pursuing God's people. Switching to a liner brush, I began to add in the debris using mostly the auburn and dark brown. I focused on 4 types of objects: wheels, spears, shields, and a few chariots. I kept the objects in the forefront the biggest, and then they got smaller to maintain depth to that focal point in the background of the painting. I left some of the wheels with broken spokes and broke a few of the spears in half to show the damage done by the power of the waters. Then the final touches came with the cream pink to create the foam of the water, which helped create more depth and movement to the whole scene. I'm aware this painting has a bit of an ominous feel to it. An incredible miracle that allowed God's people to escape was a great tragedy to their enemies who were destroyed in the crashing waters. I myself was asking God, why did you want me to paint this scene rather than the lion idea? And as I stared at the painting, waiting for his answer, I found in reply a flood of reasons coming to my mind. To point out a few: protection of his own, righteous wrath towards oppression and mistreatment of others, consequences of sin. A fallen world leads to corrupt empires, which leads to selfish gain and abuse of power towards others. And he pointed me to the cross, the ultimate moment of God fighting on our behalf while we did absolutely nothing. Dying for us on the cross, defeating the enemy of death and sin, so that we could rise again with him and experience true life and victory. Moses parting the Red Sea and creating a path for the people that led from certain defeat to sudden safety and freedom was an echo pointing to the future of Jesus' act of bridging the impossible gap between mankind and God that leads us from certain death to eternal salvation. There are certainly times we need to be bold and advocate for ourselves, but there are also times that it is best to lay it down and let the Lord become our advocate. In my own life, there have been a number of situations where, in my flesh, I wanted to react out of anger or seek revenge, but choosing to lay those emotions down and instead cry out to God, I found Him working on my behalf in ways that also helped to maintain relationships that would have otherwise been destroyed had I had my own way. Time and time again, we see the Lord fighting for His people, delivering them from impossible situations, and being gracious and merciful as He is faithful to His covenant to His people. In this life, we deal with enemies of all kinds, whether actual people in our lives, spiritual forces working for the devil, and even sometimes we get in our own way. But we can have peace knowing that the Lord sees us in our struggles, because we know who He is and what He is capable of doing. Laying down our burdens before Him, we can focus on living out our lives in love as a reflection of Christ, while God fights on our behalf in the unseen. His ways are always higher, and His protection comes in forms we do not always expect or understand. But if we recall His faithfulness and His sovereign attributes, we can rest assured that whatever opposition we may face, nothing is too hard for Him. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent. To see more painting and other creative videos that help cultivate closeness with God, be sure to subscribe and check out these next. This has been KO, here with you to create eternal perspective.